everybody, Styx here with the Token Minorities, bringing you the power rankings for Week 1 of Season 4 of the National Pokeball League. I am a new analyst, and this is my first time doing the power rankings, and joining me will be Michael, but not today, unfortunately, because due to break, we have had to kind of adjust the way we do things because our timing is just so off with each other that we couldn't find a time to do co-ops. However, he did send me his justification, so I will be including that in this video. But yeah, this will be Week 1, and this is based on the teams, what we've seen of them, and how they have performed throughout the season. And granted, the season has only been 1 week. But yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the rankings. Starting at the bottom, at number 12, we have the Washington Charizards. Michael and I both agreed on this because looking at their team, we really just did not see anything that justified any higher of a ranking. It has a very sketchy team, very lower tier team. I believe the only OU Pokemon that they even have on their team is Tornadus T, with the exception of Mega Scizor, but I mean that's a Mega, and of course you're going to use an OU Mega. But their ranking in our preseason was justified by their Week 1 loss to Toronto 4-0. So that is why at the 12th position we have the Washington Charizards. And Michael said that he really just did not believe that it was a particularly strong team, and I have to agree with him on that. So at number 12, we do have the Washington Charizards. At number 11, Michael and I differ a little bit, but as you can see, our 10 and 11 spots are the same two teams, just flipped back and forth. Both teams lost in the first round. We did see the Montreal Cobalions drop 5-0 to the St. Louis Reshiram, and we did see the New York Metangs lose 4-0 to the Portland Timbers. So in both cases, they were pretty substantial losses. So, I mean, it's not like it was like 1-0 to where one team could say, well, I mean, it was a close game that came down to hacks. No, both teams were blown out. And initially in the preseason power rankings, we both had the Metangs and the Cobalions. In the bottom half, admittedly, I had Cobalions at 7, and so did Michael had the Metangs at 7, and I had the Metangs at 11, while Michael had the Cobalions at 11. So we both, again, had the same two teams in the same spots, just switched. But with the big Week 1 losses from both teams, in addition to their rosters just kind of being suspect overall, I mean, both have somewhat solid rosters, but both with questionable Pokemon here and there. So that is why we have 10 and 11, the Montreal Cobalions and the New York Metangs. Now, at the 9 spot, this is where Michael and I differ vastly. He has the Phoenix Sunkern in that spot because he said he was not surprised with the Week 1 loss to the Atlanta Braviaries, in which they lost 1-0. Because he did not like the team's lack of defense overall. So in the preseason power rankings, Michael had the Phoenix Sunkern very low, and that's why with the Week 1 loss, he just had them drop into the lower third. I have Manaphy City at number 9, however, and my reasoning is that the Phoenix Sunkern were actually my number 1 in the power rankings to start the season. I believed that the team had such an offensive presence that it would mitigate the incredible lack of defense on the team. However, Week 1 that did come through as the Phoenix Sunkern really were not able to take hits very well, and that ultimately contributed to their loss. And Manaphy City also did lose to Colorado 2-0, so I did have them lower initially. So they just kind of dropped one spot, especially with the St. Louis Reshiram and Oakland Rosa Raiders both winning. Manaphy City dropped down to number 9 in my rankings. Jumping into the middle of our rankings, we have the 7 and 8 spots. Again, Michael and I are different in the order that we have, but we have the two same teams in the St. Louis Reshiram and the San Antonio Swamperts. Now, the Swamperts surprised both of us with their Week 1 loss because we thought that they were overall a very solid team to begin with. But considering they did lose week 1 2-0 to Oakland, who Michael and I both had at number 9, we had to have them drop in our rankings. I actually had them at number 3 just because I liked their team so much in my preseason rankings, and Michael had them at number 5. But again, a week 1 loss made them drop, and with preseason, I like to generally not drop a team too much. Just because of one loss, I like to generally just make them slowly move up or down. However, that week 1 loss was significant enough, and teams really showed what their true colors were, so I had to drop the Swamperts from number 3 to number 7, and Michael had to drop the Swamperts from number 5 to number 8. And the St. Louis Reshiram, both of us did not see this one coming. I mean, we both had the Swamperts, or the Reshiram, at number 10 in our preseason rankings. However, week 1 they destroyed Montreal 5-0, and that really showed the power of the coach in that situation, because overall the Reshiram are not a particularly threatening team. They look rather underwhelming and very, very top heavy, to say the least. But their coach proved that he could work with it and pull through, so that's why St. Louis Reshiram has moved up in both of our rankings. At the number 6 spot, Michael has Manaphy City, where I had Manaphy City at number 9, and he reasoned that he has known the coach for a while and is a solid battler, so he should be able to bounce back. And that is where Michael and I will differ on very many of our rankings. Considering I am a new analyst, I only relatively know some of the coaches, so I will not be able to weigh in on how they perform in NPL-like situations. So I'm going strictly based on team composition and how they win, while Michael will be able to take into account what he knows of the coaches and what he knows that they can do. So like I said, that will explain some of our differences in ranking. At number 6 in my ranking, and at number 5, we have the Oakland Rosa Raiders, who beat the San Antonio Swamperts 2-0 in a nail biter. That was actually voted the game of the week, if I remember correctly. And because Michael and I both had the Swamperts ranked highly, the Rosa Raiders upset of them really justified us moving them up significantly in our rankings. In addition to them having a very solid team, it's nothing that would jump off the page at you, but it is nonetheless threatening and is very solid in, showing what it can do, as it did win week 1 against a preseason general favorite. And in my number 5 spot, I have the Atlanta Braviary. Michael and I differ greatly on this one. I initially had the Braviaries at number 6 in my preseason poll. He had them at number 3, but that was because I looked at the team and I was whelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed, I wasn't overwhelmed. I was pretty much just whelmed, in that I thought it was a solid team and I thought that it could do okay, but I didn't think that it was particularly like jumping off the page at you. Michael's justification for why he ranked them number 3 is it's a good team with a good coach with a history of battling in the NPL and doing very well. So again, that is another instance of where personal connection with the coaches influenced the ranking in this case. And not that there's anything wrong with that, that's just something that I will not have in my rankings, at least in the beginning. Started from the bottom, and now we're here. We're at the top of our week 1 power rankings between Michael and I, and generally we have the same teams except for 2 big differences. Starting at number 4, we have the Colorado Avalugs. In our preseason rankings, Michael and I both had them in the top half. I had them at number 5, Michael had them at number 6, and they just justified being in the top half by defeating Manaphy City 2-0. And overall, it's just a very, very solid team that and I mean, it's a good team that performed well. So I mean, there was nothing that was surprising, there was nothing that was unexpected, just a good team that performed well, thus justifying the number 4 ranking. At number 3 is where we differ incredibly. As you can see, I have the Sun Kern at number 3, who Michael had at number 9. That is a 6-spot difference. That is half of the entire ranking, and I would like to justify this by explaining, in my preseason ranking, like I said, I did really like the Sun Kern. I liked their offensive pressure that they were able to apply, and I didn't think that the defensive lacking would be mitigated or be a problem particularly. So that is why I have the Phoenix Sunkern at number 3, because I had them at number 1 and they had a very close 1-0 week 1 loss, so I didn't think that that was reason enough to drop them out of the top 4 just yet. If they continue to lose, then by all means I will drop them out. However, just based on that week 1 close loss, I didn't think that they deserved to drop out. Number 3 for Michael was the Atlanta Braviary, who again, good team, performed well in week 1, so just was able to move up in the ranking. And then our top 2 slots, again, same 2 teams, different order. We have the Toronto Star Raptor and the Portland Timber. I mean, both are incredible teams with very good coaches. I think Michael's difference was that, again, he took the coaches into account and I did not. So that might explain our difference there. But both teams won convincingly. Actually, both teams won 4-0 against teams in the lower half that they should have beat with a very high differential. So good teams, good coaches. I mean, that is your 1 and 2 spots at number 1. We look forward to having an incredible week 2 with hopefully a lot of upsets, because I do enjoy making the power rankings and being forced to put a lot of thought into it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.